You know what separated humans from the robots? Breathing. Not anymore. This mouse breathes. Okay, it's not like aspirating and expirating. It's blowing air on your hands. That's right. The Noctua Fineman FO1 mouse is a mouse with a fan in it. And the fun part is, it's actually a good fan this time. It's made by Noctua. Look at that. Look at that guy. Look, it's a freaking fan. The idea is for sweaty gamers whose palms get sweaty when they game, and it should cool you down to keep you in the game longer, clicking heads, doing all that stuff. But the question remains, is it a good mouse on top of its fan? Let's find out. Inside our box, we have actually the thing I might be most excited about. This dongle, we'll come back to this later. We have, what looks like a 6-foot paracord cable. This is a really nice cable. If you haven't noticed already, everything is in the Noctua beige and brown. Pulsar makes the regular Feinmann, which is another hollow body mouse in the same shape that doesn't have the fan, and it's a good mouse. Oh, this is longer than 6 feet. That's like a full 2 meters. I don't want to do it. I'm too tired. I don't want to measure this. Don't make me measure this, Brad. Why are you making me measure?
I'm not making.
Brad, stop!
Get that shit down to the millimeter.
This is, yeah, that's 2 meters. I don't know if it's on purpose, but the Type-C end of the cable actually has a slight angle to it. I don't hate that. I guess it's to reduce drag of the cable because it's lifting the cable enough and it's stiff enough that it's not gonna drag on the thing. That's kind of neat. It's really nice when companies think of little details to iterate on because that bodes very well for the thoughtfulness of this entire product. It's got a pretty top-end sensor, the XS2, which is a custom version of the PW3955, which is a flawless sensor, which is good for 42,000 DPI, 800 IPS, and 70 Gs, well above what your human body is capable of. Also in the box, we have our quick start guide. Notably absent from the Noctua version of the Feinmann is grip tape. That makes sense. Why would you want to cover the airflow? And the dock that the mouse would charge on. Instead, we have this very cool dongle. Instead of having my DPI button on my mouse or other functions adding weight or inconvenience to my mouse, why not just have it on my dongle? I don't need to switch my DPI that often. So instead of friggin' flipping my mouse over, hitting a button, or a weird button combination in the middle of the games, I can assign one multifunction to this button, or my DPI switch to this. That's freaking brilliant, man. It's freaking so smart. How smart is it? It's so smart. One thing I'm really curious versus the regular Feinmann is actually the weight of this mouse. Considering it has a whole ass 40 millimeter fan in it, I can't imagine that this is anywhere close to the 46 grams of the original. But there's only one way to find out, and that's for me to very slowly remove the protectors from the glide skates, and then 73 grams, that is nearly 30 grams heavier than the original. All right, that's the first downside of extra coolness in your mouse. And so that's gonna be the first consideration if you're considering this mouse. The next consideration will be durability. These switches are optical switches rated for 100 million clicks. That's a lot of clicks unless you're a professional Diablo player, if you know what I mean.
Welcome to my unboxing of the Diablo 3 mouse.
We also have our alloy scroll wheel on the top. They don't really tell you what the alloys are, but it's a metal scroll wheel. It doesn't feel like cold or metal, which is interesting. I can feel the softness of it. It doesn't feel like metal ratcheting against metal. I really like this wheel. It's tactile in the way I want. It's got enough resistance that I don't think I would accidentally switch it around. The click feels good, although when I click, I can feel the wheel wanting to spin a little bit. So pretty impressive, not perfect. I'll give it an A-. I really like the shape of it as well. These clicks, pretty darn satisfying, pretty equivalent across the whole body of it. Not too much travel, although I've seen shorter mouse travel before. But I'm about to see if I can get to 100 million in this video. You think I can do it? The great thing about if you're a super fast mouse clicker is that this mouse has an 8,000 hertz polling rate, which means that there's just less time in between what you're doing here and what you're doing there. I haven't noticed a huge performance difference, but when we measured input latency affecting gaming performance, we noticed that as small as we measured, there was an impact on gaming performance. And so it's good to know that this is not compromising on anything, even to give you the gimmick. We have our 2 buttons on top, our mouse click button. We have our 2 side buttons that we will press to activate our freaking fan. On the bottom, we have our fairly large PTFE glide skates as well as our button. I would assume this is DPI, although we have our DPI here. So I guess we're gonna have to plug it in to find out what that is. Other than that, it is a pretty standard gaming mouse other than the perforations that allow you to see the fan. Most of the electronics are at the front of the mouse to have the weight feel more front heavy. I think that's a good choice. This actually feels quite balanced, and I really like the shape. I like right-handed shaped mice. My hand fits comfortably on it. My fingers have a comfortable resting place to go, but my thumb has easy access to these side buttons. I don't like that sound. That sounds less good than. That's nice. That sounds too, like, tingy. Such a minor issue, I'm not gonna notice that with headphones. Feels very premium to the touch. Silky smooth, but not the kind that's gonna sort of degrade over the long period. Yeah, you can see this line. I'm not sure if that's in their manufacturing or sort of for the grip tape, or if that's one of the challenges of working with a carbon composite shell. That's like a metal, which means that it is really rigid, even with all these perforations. And you can see these are quite wide perforations for this style of mouse. There is very little flex. Like you can see maybe a little bit there, but my finger pads are flexing more than the actual mouse. This is more than sufficiently rigid. I like this a lot more than I thought I would. This is a good sign, and I can't wait to plug it in after I tell you about our sponsor. I'm always hearing Americans talk about how they wish they could watch the Canadian classic series Murdoch Mysteries, but they're bound by the restraints of their IP address. Well, with private internet access, you can mask your IP from your internet service provider with a VPN, opening up your world to more media. It can also help keep your data out of reach from third parties. Their network spans over 91 countries, and a single subscription gives you unlimited connections. So go check it out at piavpn.com/shortcircuit or by using our link in the description for a special exclusive deal with a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee. We have our dongle plugged in, we got our mouse connected, and we are in the BBAP web software. I think this might be the cutest splash screen I've ever seen. Seems pretty easy. I'm a huge fan of freaking web apps because I don't want to download software to my computer. It's all freaking malware at this point. On page 1, we kind of get our statuses, our DPI, polling rate, whatnot. None of this is changeable, so let's go right to customize. We can change our button assignment. I never do this because I'm so afraid of reassigning left click and then having trouble. It's a bad time. We can go to performance, which I'm more interested in. By default, we have 6 stages. We can go down to the one that I need, which it will reduce the amount of stages, but not to the one that you've selected, just to the left. So we're gonna go back to 2 stages, and we'll select the second stage. Here we have our DPI effect. We can change the light that appears on the actual mouse. Because I'm trying to maximize battery life, this is only a 500 milliamp hour battery. I think I want it to off. Next we have our polling rate. By default, it's 1,000, but we're gonna go to 8,000 because we're testing the performance of this bad boy. You know, that's freaking sweet. Next, we have our mouse rotation. That's really nice. I've noticed that I have my mouse at about a 9-degree angle when I'm actually gaming, and so I'm gonna set it there. Next, we have motion sync, ripple control, angle snap, and turbo mode. Most of these are settings you don't really want if you're gaming, but turbo mode, where it scans 20,000 times per second to reduce fine response delay between movements. That sounds pretty turbo. It's turbo time. We can also change our liftoff distance. The default was 1, we're gonna leave it there. This is one of those settings that, in my experience, you basically just wanna go as low as you can go without having issues. 1 millimeter is pretty low, so I'm gonna keep it there. We have our debounce time to reduce double clicks, and then our fan speed time. That's the whole reason we're talking about this mouse, is the freaking fan. Let's test it out. 1, it works, it freaking works. 2, it's faster. 3, is 3 faster? It's even faster. What about 4? 4, it's the fastest, holy smokes. That's actually a pretty solid amount of air being pushed. I can actually feel the difference immediately on my palm. I quite enjoyed that more than I thought I would. I've done a mouse with a fan in it before, but it was such a low quality mouse that the fan was just a gimmick. But this so far feels like a really premium mouse, really nice construction. I like the look, the feel, the shape. And so now having it have the extra feature of the cooling, this might be a little bit cooler than I expected. Next we can assign macros. The only macro I care about is how much protein I'm getting in a day. Am I right? Then we can change our low power mode, so it'll change modes depending on how much battery life there is. The auto sleep. We can turn on long distance mode. We're pretty close to our dongle, so we should be good. And then we can change what our dongle's extra button does. There's one button that is fixed for the DPI. I actually don't love that because I'm not someone who constantly DPI switches on the go. So I'd like to have both buttons be assignable. But the one that is assignable, you can turn it off. You can change your profile, change your polling rate, change your liftoff distance, your debounce time, your motion sync, your turbo mode, your fan mode. And because this is actually the second time we're shooting this, I've already set it to the fan mode. And so basically you can hit this, it'll turn your fan on and off. I'm actually into this because I think during the winter I don't want any fan. Sometimes here in Vancouver, the mornings are really cold, but the days are hot and then the nights get cold again. And so it'd be nice throughout the day of gaming, if I'm gaming for 20 hours straight, I can hit this button, change my fan speed like a freaking pro. We have our settings of our settings, shows our WebDriver version. We can update the mouse firmware and dongle. We've already updated it, so we don't do that. We have our information, our driver history, our guide, and then our general, which will allow us to repair if we're having an issue, although I think it'd be hard to get into this software if that was the case, or a full reset of the mouse to default settings. I like the settings I got, so I'm gonna leave them as is and play some games, starting with Resident Evil 4. One of the best gosh darn games ever made. This is the remake. It's still great. I will admit, this is usually a controller game for me. I find, because I'm console brained when it comes to Resident Evil, I still play with a controller. So actually will not do super well, but it'll give us a good initial impression of how this mouse is. I gotta say, this feels like a very premium mouse. I'm not the biggest fan of the perforations, but for the purpose of this mouse, oh God, what have I done? How do I freaking parry? Nope, not like that. How do I parry on keyboard? Oh God, how do I parry? Oh God, no. You might have noticed I switched out of Resident Evil 4. That was a part of the game where your equipment is taken away from you, so you don't really need to know what a mouse does in that game. What you need to know is how it does in a game like CS2. And let me tell you, this feels real good. This feels real connected to me. I feel like pretty quickly I'm forgetting about the mouse that I'm using and I'm just clicking on heads. Yeah, the response feels amazing. It feels so smooth. It feels so natural. The weight is good. Even the 73 grams, even though it's a little heavier than ideal, it doesn't feel heavy in the hand. I gotta say, this is going a lot more favorably for this mouse than I expected. But why don't we try it out in a game that I'm a little more familiar with, which is Apex Legends. Boom! Headshot! This mouse feels so good. I can't believe I'm saying this. I really thought this was just gonna be a haha funny joke movie. Like, I'm a pretty sweaty person, and when I'm presenting, I'm always like sweating everywhere. My hand is the only thing on me that is cool right now. You're looking at this and you're like, maybe. And to you, I say, maybe plus.
I feel like if you were somebody that had a mouse that was just like worn to right around here because your hands have been so like sweaty on it, this might be for you.
I have never used a mouse that makes my hand cooler and is also just a really solid mouse. This feels really good. The response times are good. The weight is really good. It's like slightly front heavy, but it's not like, feels like it's gonna rip out of my hand at any point. I would gladly use this mouse any day of the week. This is surprisingly good. And for $180, it should be really good. That's a pretty premium pricing category. At that point, you're getting pretty close to the G Pro X2 Super Strike, which I think has other features that might make it a more complete mouse experience or something more novel. And there's just a ton of high-end mice at that price point. And I'm still a believer that you can get a lot for your money at a lower price. We got this MCHO's K7, but the L7s are awesome too. There's the Keychron mice that I really like, that M series. That's so good. Great specs for the price. As someone who thinks that spending, nearly $200 US on one peripheral is a little bit much, this is actually a surprisingly great product. And I think that if you're into the idea of this, it's definitely worth trying out. Just like you should definitely try watching more short circuits. You could either watch the time that I unboxed the vertical Keychron, it'll give you an idea of the specs and the build quality, or the time that I previously unboxed a fan mouse, just to show you how far we've come since then.